Hey guys. Alrighty, so big weekend. Obviously, if you some crazy reason missed the news, there was the issue. The operation, I guess we'll call it, in Venezuela. So all that happened. Obviously, that is quite the news. So I was definitely curious last night to kind of see how the market would react. Um, you know, I'm kind of, I wouldn't say I'm underwhelmed by the reaction, but I guess, it didn't really matter too much. Today was set already to be, excuse me, a pretty bullish day. If you look at Friday, we had the double bottom off on ES there. I guess it wasn't quite a double bottom, but we had the Doji Wick double bounce off of the 20 EMA support and the over on NQ. We did have the long rejection off the top, but also a doji rejection there off the 50 EMA support. So it was already after 5 days of red in a row set up for the push to the upside. So I'm not too surprised that today's green as it is. So basically that news just didn't negatively affect us. So looking over at the market, the interesting thing here once again, and we saw this last week, and it did lead to a pretty impressive sell-off, is that VIX is elevated 3.24% right now, and markets are pretty green. So ES up 0.5% and NQ up 1%. So again, you should not or would not expect to see VIX up 3% while markets up like this. So I'm very curious to see if this will once again get sold off, or if they're going to push this higher and maybe finally VIX will see a pretty impressive sell-off. So definitely going to be treading lightly today. Kind of levels I'm watching on the daily right now is really that 69.40 area and then about 25.700. Overnight, I was watching 25.600 and 69.20. We did push through that, so that is pretty bullish. That's kind of breaking through the EMA resistance that we had on the daily. So from here, I would assume if we get through 69.40 and 25.700, that realistically, a move up to 69.60 and probably 25.800 is likely. That would pretty much be a good bullish bounce. There's certainly a daily bull flag that is formed here, so I'm watching that closely. And then to the support wise, I don't think we'll get back down there, but if we do, 68.95 and 25.400, that's our key bounce spot. So that's the 20 EMA support on ES and 50 EMA support, or just above it, on NQ. So, of course, again, watching that closely. Here on the intraday 15-minute time frame, we're kind of pushing through. So overnight, we had a nice range here of really 69.14 to 69.22 and 25.338 to 25.582. We're pushing through that. So right now, ES is coming into a nice resistance area of 69.37. If that pushes through, the next big upside area is this 69.49 to 69.54. On NQ, you can see we have pretty big open space here. So really next big area is 25.733 to 25.810 area. Last couple of opens that we've had have just been a pretty big pop. Market didn't really wait, they just go. So, we'll see what happens here at open. I'm certainly being cautious, being patient. I really just need a small $150 profit today to secure my payout. So I'm being very cautious in what I do, because I want to make sure, obviously, that I can secure that payout. So again, being cautious. Yes, I'm looking for a small amount of profit, but I'm looking for the bigger play to ensure that small amount of profit. So that's something I've made a mistake in the past, is like, oh, I only need 5 points. So sometimes I'll take a more risky play. I'm like, oh, well, this is just 5 points. I'll grab that 5 points real quick. And I end up getting stopped out, where if I would have waited for, oh, there's my big 20, 30, 40 point move, let me just grab the 5 points I need, I would have been better off. So certainly an adjustment that I've been making since last year. to kind of be a little bit more cautious when it comes to trades here. So here we go. Again, VIX is heading down. There is that opening push that I was talking about. Seems to happen quite often now. But yeah, let's kind of see where this shakes out. Again, like I said, upside area would be 25,733 and 69.49 to 69.61. I am bullish. I mean, we got buyers. VIX is heading down. There's no more daily sellers weakened. So again, I don't really see a bearish setup here right this moment. But with that being said, obviously, just because it's bullish doesn't mean that we take the first, green play that we see. Obviously, we got to be patient. We got to wait for the setup. And you can see here, ES and NQ now are diverging, so that's always fun for us to trade too. I don't think we have data this morning, but let me just double check in here real quick. We do have PMI at 10 a.m., so something to keep an eye on for sure. So really big divergence here on ES and NQ. So support-wise for NQ, really 25,562 to 25,582 is a big bounce spot. But really overnight demand in range support is 25,538. So I will be curious to see if ES comes back down. If it doesn't, there's a good chance ES may try to take us higher. And if ES takes us higher, then of course, we're about to get a really big bounce here in NQ, which would be right off that 5-minute 20 EMA support. And there it is. There's the bounce already. So again, being cautious here, being patient. But generally speaking, this looks to still be a buy the dip moment here. Key level I want to watch is 69.37 on ES at close here. If we close over that, I again would expect that ES is going to pull us higher. In the off chance in the next minute before this 5-minute candle closes, they take ES back under 69.37, especially under 69.33, then I actually think we will get some follow through lower. I'm seeing some small 5-minute sellers come in here on NQ now too. Okay, so there's our close. We did get over 69.37, so I really do think, again, that we could bounce here. Again, off of 5-minute 20 EMA support here too. But, again, we got to be careful because it is a buy the dip so far. It is a bullish trend. So I don't want to commit too quickly to the short here. We do have some sellers forming on, aggressive sellers now on the 5-minute NQ. ES still is too strong though. I would almost need to see a move back to maybe 25.620 first before I would really trust a short here. But VX is getting a big pop. So VX has actually got a nice green reversal candle here. Okay, here's 25.562. If that loses, maybe 25.538 is coming.
Order submitted. Order filled.
All right, I took the short here. Definitely not my best entry. Probably going to get stopped out, actually. I didn't like that. Was a bad entry. But we'll see if they can sell it down or not. Yeah, they did, that was just not a great entry. Wow, that was a lot of slippage on that. That's weird. Instead of stopping me out at 20 points, it stopped me out almost at like 25 points. That's weird. Yeah, it's a red stop loss. That's weird. All right, so now again, looking at this, we still have aggressive sellers. We're still sitting right on that EMA support. It's kind of that bounce or die spot here. ES is starting to make another push up. So again, bullish. Tough one here. I do like a long. It does look like this EMA support is going to bounce us, but these sellers on the 5-minute NQ are quite aggressive. And VX again is pushing up here, so let's go ahead and try this another short here. We're going to try it. So again, I do think 25.538 is a good downside target here. Under 25.562 at this 5-minute close here would be extra confirmation of likely further downside to happen. ES was going down with us, but now it's trying to push up, so a lot of little volatility here. That divergence is still forming, but I still like the downside. There's still very aggressive sellers here on NQ, so again, that supports my case. Okay, we got our close right on that 25.562 I was talking about. Now again, really 25.585 is key resistance here. So We'd like to see that touch like we just got, and then a rejection lower again through 562, and hopefully this is going to flush to 538.
Stop filled.
Okay, I got out for 20 points there. I'm going to take that. I still like downside here. I think ES rather, is still kind of messing with us. But NQ still looks good for the downside. I do wish a little bit that I would have still been in this play. But again, I'm happy to take the 20 points there and get back. I'm only down, because of that, I got a really, really bad fill on that first stop loss. So I'm down about $100 right now. So I need about 250 here would be my payout level. So just being patient. Very impressive though. Again, the sellers that I'm seeing on NQ, it's very, very, very aggressive. So we did touch 538 actually, to pretty much the point. All right, we're going to see where this 5 and 15-minute candle closes here. I still like the short, to be honest, but ES at this very moment is just too strong. Excuse me. So, okay, there NQ goes. So now with this bounce here, we could see a recovery back to that 25,672 area. This is actually an impressive recovery on NQ back over its 15-minute 5 EMA support. I'm kind of impressed, actually. I really thought this might push lower. All right, so let's kind of see where we're at here. So we did get a new supply. So really, if you look at NQ, we do have a nice range right now of 25,538 to 25,644. Again, There's no buyers, but we are holding EMA support. ES looks strong, so that is bullish. So really we could see, generally speaking, a run back to 25,673. With ES breaking high a day, I honestly favor that we're going to see a pretty big push up here on NQ also. But again, NQ has been so much more weak than ES. It's also a little hard to trust that it's not going to get slapped right back down. So as I'm saying that, there you go. You're seeing a little bit of a wick start to form here. ES also forming a rejection here. Let's go ahead and get in the short.
Order filled. Order filled.
Okay, I'm out. So that's 350 on the day for all accounts. That is payout secured. Whew, long time coming. December was a rough month, but I'm happy to secure this to start January off. I will see you folks tomorrow.